Well, no, how much math do people
All right, here we go.
yeah, so I'm just wondering how much math do people it's maths in Australia, do you like in your
Um,
game?
I I
I'm
don't like
trying
much,
to
if any. Sorry,
none at
sorry.
all.
Almost none. Basically, I'm very story oriented, and if I can find a system that streamlines the
Mm,
rules down to just a simple roll here and there while keeping the story moving, then great.
mm,
That's generally what I aim for is storytelling uh, systems.
mm,
There is the actual storyteller system from White Wolf that I'm
mm.
a very very big fan of. But just in general, I like storytelling
Like
games.
narrative games, yeah.
Yeah, it's more
So you
narrative
don't like
games.
games. So what would you consider to be too crunchy? Like in terms
Um,
of, because
it's
I'm interested in, because they talk about crunch as being something where it's a bit more maths heavy, but often people like that because you can optimize characters and you can like game the system to a certain extent.
yeah.
So some people like that, some people don't. And I'm just curious.
Actually, I mean, well, I said I like narrative systems. I like running
Mm,
narrative
mm.
systems.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't mind playing in a maths heavy system. And
Oh,
I
okay.
actually have an extensive Shadowrun library, which the setting is amazing. The
Mm-hmm.
system, and there's been 6 editions. They're just absolutely horrible. But I mean, if you can find the good in those systems and kind of bring it out while minimizing I guess it's not even that it's very crunchy. It's just there's just so much because you're combining it's a world of cyberpunk, the real world, and then take it into the future. So it's a cyberpunk future, and but
Yeah.
then add in fantasy into that,
Yeah.
and so it's a lot to have to run, and I cannot run it. I love reading it. I have an extensive
Mm.
library of it, and I would love to play in a game if I found a game.
But
But
have you played it? Have you played as a player or somebody else running it?
no, and
Okay.
I have
Mm.
been reading. I've been reading. I've been into RPGs for 20 years,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so and one of my first RPGs I got was Shadowrun Fourth Edition, and
Okay.
immediately I'm like, what is this? And I had just gotten done reading at the time White Wolf's World of Darkness RPG that had
Mhm.
come out recently. Then
Mm.
at the time, and it was kind of similar to it, but it was
Mm.
also very, 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 very crunchy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I understood some of it, but then other times I just couldn't wrap my head. Well, I could wrap my head around it, but then I didn't want to play it. It just kind of scared me away.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
how about you, Phil? Um, I feel like I think if I'm playing a single player game, then I don't want to have to deal with a lot of the math. But I think I'm okay with numbers and stuff. Um, especially in like a tabletop role playing game. I think as long as people as long as people are paying attention and they're like doing their turn efficiently, I
Mm.
think it's fine.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So how much is too math? How much is for you, Phil? How much is too much maths? Like on a single turn, if you're a player and you're a turn, say if you rolled a dice and added, I don't know, modifiers or something to it, or did something like how many? I guess what I'm trying to get at is how many steps would be too many to resolve an action. Does that make sense? Like how
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to work out. So for my system, I'm trying to work out whether it's too mathy, um, because my issue is that there's some crunch is good because it gives people options, to optimize. But a lot of crunch for no purpose is a bit pointless.
It's fair. I
So,
think one problem I've run into is like, for example, there's like sometimes there's like multi attacks, and
yeah.
it's like maybe it's like I think some people get a little impatient. Sometimes it feels nice just to kind of roll like do all 3 attacks or something, and then or 2 attacks, kind of add them all
Mm.
into one pool instead of doing one at a time.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's I guess it varies. I mean, I think I'm more okay with like it kind of being crunchy. Um,
Mm.
but um,
Mm. I mean, I'm not saying
I
it's
guess
good or bad. I mean, everybody to their own,
I guess
you
when
know,
there's like a lots of
whatever.
dice being rolled, or like rolling like 6 or 7 d6s, and you have to like figure all these little numbers.
Yeah.
And I guess when it becomes tedious or like super grindy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
actually, I actually like dice pool systems. I'm a very big fan of dice pool systems. Um, just because I like the fiddliness of it and stuff.
Mm.
Um, but when I mean, I couldn't really tell you what is too much. I just know it if I have to think about it too much, and it's like, okay, that's too much. But I couldn't give you an example off the top of my head, I'm afraid.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine. Can I ask you though about dice pools? Do you like dice pools that you just like count the successes, or do you like dice pools where you're actually adding up the numbers? There's a lot
Oh,
of
no.
difference.
The first one.
Yeah, you're counting
Yeah, the
them. Yeah.
first one. Yeah, I'm counting up successes and stuff. What's funny is you say that where you have to add up numbers. Shadowrun actually had both. In previous
Oh,
editions,
okay.
they're up to the sixth edition now, but in previous editions, uh, I know third edition, some rolls you had to add up your results.
Hmm.
Others you just had to count your successes.
Mm.
And yeah, but yeah, I prefer the ones where you just count up successes.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Okay. No worries.
it's fair.
I guess the reason I'm asking is so I'm making a system at the moment. I'm trying to put together a system where it's 3d6, and you're also adding modifiers to your roll. So every roll you roll 3d6, and you add them together. So that's 3 numbers you're adding together under 6, and then you're adding modifiers as well, and any other modifiers. So anything else you want to add to it. So that's sometimes can be four or five separate numbers that you're adding together. And I think for a lot of people, that's too much thinking, because it'll all be below 6. It'll be around 2 or 3 in terms of modifiers. But um, if I say, okay, I've rolled 3d6, and so that's 5, plus 4, that's 9, plus 3, that's 12, that's your 3d6. Then you've got another 2, that's 14, and you've got another 1, that's 15. For a lot of people, adding all those numbers up is going to be too much work. But I don't know. I'm sort of wondering about whether I should go back. I should try transferring it to a dice pool where you're just counting successes, or whether there's a different system or a better sort of way of
But
sort of streamlining that.
um,
I don't know.
if I may ask, what is this
Yeah.
a generic system, or are you planning a
Yes.
setting for it?
No, it's generic.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Um, what what are you hoping? What kind of stories are you hoping to tell with this
I'm
system?
hoping to do any sort of story. So I'm trying to make it generic setting, so it can be more of a uh, sort of, you can have like any sort of genre, anything, any kind of genre. So the idea is that you can have fights or physical attacks. You can have social conflict. You can have, um, you know, car chases or horse chases or sword fighting or laser gun fighting or anything like that. But I don't want it to be so. crunchy as to be, oh my gosh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So the actual system resolving issues needs to be fairly easy, needs to be fairly fluid, because I do want it to be story first. I want it to be narrative focused rather than crunch focused. So it's much more about what's the story you're actually telling. What's the, rather than sitting back and slogging away through things. One of the interesting things with my playtesters is I developed this nice combat system with all this, punching and all that sort of stuff to do, and then nobody ever uses it. Because I'm playing with people from my church, so all they do is to sit around and talk. They want to negotiate. They want to talk people down. They don't want to throw hands at all. So I'm sitting there, so thinking, I've got to make these people fight. So I've done that a few times. I've put them in situations where I said, look, I really want to test this system, so would you just fight? And they've been quite nice. They've been doing, okay, just for you. We'll fight just for you.
I would go
yeah.
with counting up successes rather than adding up numbers and
dice,
everything. If you want to keep it fast and everything,
yeah,
you talk
that's
about
what I've been thinking.
you talk about them not wanting to get in combat. I actually like combat that is very, very lethal, so that combat is discouraged. Yeah, but that's just me. I know you probably want to have some
No. Yeah, no.
combat
I mean,
rules.
the combat in the game is pretty lethal, but just nobody wants to do it. No, nobody wants to actually get into a physical altercation with anybody else in the game. So they're always saying, "Oh no, we can talk this out. We can work this out. Don't worry, guys." So it's nice in the sense that they want to resolve everything peacefully. But it's sort of frustrating that you've done all this stuff and it's there if you want to use it. But anyway,
That sounds fun, actually. I'd actually, if have you tried getting more people interested in your playtest? Because maybe with
well,
the right
yeah,
playtesters, you might facilitate or come up with a combat scenario where they can't talk their way to combat, and so therefore you have to test the combat rules.
yeah. Well, I'm going to try and get a playtest group going here. I had before Grace, who joins this group. I was here last week. She's done a playtest, which has been cool. And so I'll try and get people in. I've just got to draw maps. But yeah, so I did do an Old Testament story where I got people fighting because God said it was okay. So that was cool. But even so, they were trying to get them into the situation where it's okay. God says it's okay. You can kill these people, or you can at least fight these people. You don't have to kill them. But yeah. Anyway, but no, the reason I was asking a question about crunch and that is I'm a little bit concerned that while I like my 3D6 system because it gives you a lot of nuance in terms of results. So if you're rolling 3D6, you've got between 3 and 18 as a result, and that gives
Yeah,
you nuance in terms of success, like how successful something is or how much, and then you can add modifiers on it, which will determine that. But the thing is that if people just don't like doing maths, which I mean I can respect, particularly like doing maths either. So anyway, it's interesting.
it's
Thank you for that. Thank you. Appreciate your feedback.
yeah. It kind of sounds like GURPS, if you know GURPS.
Yeah, I haven't played GURPS, but I know GURPS is notorious for being crunchy. But I think one of the reasons is because it has rules for every single thing under the sun. So
I've never personally read GURPS at all, but I
yeah,
know a
I've
friend of
only
mine
read through it.
swears by it. He was always trying to get me to try GURPS, and it's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of it. I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've sort of seen reviews of it and watched sort of YouTubers. I was trying to work out because
Is that
I
the one where they
reviewed a
use
lot
the
of.
D100? Is that the one where they use the D100? Am I
I
GURPS?
thinking
think
of the
No,
Call
wrong
of
one?
Cthulhu.
no.
I
GURPS
think
is
it's Call
where
of Cthulhu.
they use 3D6, and it's a bell curve.
Oh,
Yeah. That's the other thing. Bell curves are cool because they do give you a standard deviation. You can kind of work out the stats a lot easier. But that's all right.
See, that's
Probably just a
too much
standard.
math for me. I
Oh
was never good
no,
at
I
math.
wouldn't. You wouldn't work out the standard. I can work it out when planning the game. In working out like the enemies and you'd be working that out beforehand in terms of what how strong could enemies be and points and stuff like that. That would be not part of the game. So anyway, that was cool. That was my question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Please continue with your regularly scheduled broadcast.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
what's your favorite TTRPG?
Me?
Yeah, is it Hellion? Is that right?
Helion. Oh
Hellion,
boy.
sorry.
Right now, well, my favorite TTRPG has got to be Vampire the Masquerade.
Okay.
I'm a longtime Masquerade fan, but anything that's not D&D,
Oh,
I
okay. Really?
it's not that I hate D&D. It's that um, I like very, very lethal combat, and I like narrative first, and I also like um, horror in
Hmm.
general, or urban horror, which Vampire does. But there's other systems that I like to read about. One that I really like right now is one called Merkborg. If anybody's
Oh
heard of
yeah,
that.
Morgboard. Yeah. Yep.
Yes. The art. I have the book. I like that it's a little tiny book, not this big massive tome, and
Yeah.
it's very avant-garde. I think very art first.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's a little hard to read, but I really like that one because it's kind of horror focused, and everything. Um, yeah, I
And they
liked
have a
that
whole
one.
bunch of like different things for they have pirate Borg and other
Yeah,
sort of Borg and stuff like that. Yeah. 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 Cool. So what do you like about it as a setting?
that's the setting.
Yeah. Okay.
We're talking about Merkford, or we're talking about
Well,
Vampire?
both,
Oh,
either one.
this Vampire. I like. Well, other people like that they can make kind of like long running, like 100 years old vampires.
Mm.
I'm not much for that. I like making modern night vampires that um, they have to they have to work up their way to fight established vampires, and there's a lot of politics involved, and I like that kind of setting. Um,
I was going to
the
say,
whole personal.
what is so Masquerade is about? Is it are you doing quests or adventures, or are you just
Not sometimes actually, yeah. Sometimes like the prince. That's the head vampire of the city, a given
yeah?
city, and sometimes you'll be under at the prince's beck and call to do something, go somewhere, preserve the
Hmm.
masquerade, or you can be completely against the prince, and because the prince, it can be authoritative and, excuse me,
Hmm.
like a dictator. So you might want to work against the prince and everything.
Mm.
But the masquerade itself is a giant conspiracy to hide vampires.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, there's a massive amount of
So there's
lore,
all these
and
factions, are there? Like different
yes.
factions against each other. Okay.
Yeah, there's three main factions, and each of them kind of does vampirism in their own way. But then that's not even getting into the 13 different clans, and that can have its own. The clans are almost their own factions in and of themselves as well. So it's all
Hmm.
very intricate and everything.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know much about it. I've heard of it. I've sort of heard of it in passing, but I've never really watched a game or anything. I probably should. I'm sure there's one some on YouTube. I should have a look.
Yeah,
So is that
there's tons of stuff on YouTube up with it.
yeah?
But go on.
Is that
Yeah,
so? Is that most? Sorry, go on.
well, I think it's about the same for me. I've heard of it. It's intrigued me, but I haven't really like actually invested into it. I was gonna say sink my
Yeah.
teeth into it, right? But that's kind of. I was like,
Ah, I
oh,
see what you did there. Yeah.
it definitely like, highly intrigues me, the idea, but I have never actually done it yet.
Yeah.
Or at least I think it's like a video game. I've heard of the video game. I think that's what I mostly know.
Yeah,
Is it? Oh,
yeah, and
okay.
that's what got me into Masquerade to begin with, and tabletop to begin with. So I thank the video game for getting me involved in tabletop. But what were you saying, Greg? I'm sorry.
No, no. What's the video game? I didn't know there was a video game for
Oh,
Vampire.
it's a classic. At least the first one, called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. That
Okay.
was released in 2005, I think. Um, the very day that Half-Life 2 came out. So it got pushed
Oh.
aside for the brand new shiny Half-Life 2, and that's fine.
Oh. No wonder.
But when you sat down
Yeah.
and played it, it was a very good approximation of the game mechanics and everything. And that's what got me into tabletop as a whole, because the atmosphere was something that I could get into and vibe with. It was the whole vibe of you're a newly what's called embraced
Mm.
turned. You're a newly turned vampire in LA, and you gotta do missions for the prince. Actually, like you were saying, yeah, and you get to meet and greet all the vampires in LA. Uh, and the vibe, if it's nightlife. It's nightlife with a
Mm.
twist,
Mm.
and it's
Mm.
and if you vibe with that, you vibe with that. Some people might I mean, nowadays it might be considered, I don't know, edgy or something, but
Mm.
I loved that's the whole vibe of
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
what got
Yeah.
me. Yeah, it got me into tabletop.
Yeah. 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 No worries. No, that's I never heard of that. Is it an RPG or is it just like a first person
No,
like
the first one is, yeah, the first one is
the
a first
the
person.
actual computer game? It's a first
Yeah,
person like shooter.
yeah,
Okay.
it's a
Oh,
first
it sounds
person
cool.
RPG actually.
Yeah. Okay. I'll look it up. I didn't know that. Cool. Cool. Mhm. So what's your favorite game, Phil?
My favorite game. Um. Well, I played a handful over the years. I haven't, other than the ones I think I made, I haven't really played in a hand. I haven't really like done too much in a handful of years. I think like
Mm.
COVID kind of shut me down and off of it for a while. But I obviously I have my own. I play on Discord now. Well,
Mm.
I played a handful of the different D&D games. Like it was like there's like 3 or 4 different versions of it. I think I played Pathfinder and I played like the 3.5. I think it's called like D&D. I played
Mhm.
was it 2014. I played a handful of some other games. I think I played like a Warhammer
Oh
RPG
yeah.
fantasy one. That was kind of
Okay.
cool. I played a couple of the 3D6 ones or the multiple D6s. I'm
Mm.
not sure if I remember the rules for them, but and I
Is
did
that
really like that I played like that Star Wars one. I did
yeah,
actually like that one
I've
quite a
heard a
bit.
lot of people quite like the Star Wars one. Yeah. With the light and the dark side of the force sort of tokens or whatever it is, or dice, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think when it came out, it was pretty new, and it was like something. It was like a lot of these systems are like they're really old, or they were kind of meant for someone else. But like when I played like the
Mm.
Star Wars, the one for example, that one kind of came out right when I was. So I got in like immediately, right? So I think that helped a little bit.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
I think the same for like 5th edition, because like I played that when it came out, but like, it was like came out like right when I had a chance to play it immediately. So it's kind of like it was like kind of like it becomes like my own thing, right? I feel like, and it's like I think when if you get in like if you play like an MMO and you get in like right away, you're part of like the in group, and I think it's more fun. Versus you play the game like 5 years later. I mean, it's still cool, but it's like you kind of miss your window.
Yeah.
So
no,
I definitely like that. Yeah, I like that Star Wars one. I played a handful of some other. I mean, which ones I kind of liked more, I guess. But I played some game called like Iron Claw. I think like an animal. Like one time. I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
Was it good? Enjoy it?
It was definitely interesting. It was definitely interesting. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah. I guess I haven't played too many systems, I think, either. So I've only played like a handful of them, like kind of seriously, that is. So maybe my experience is a little bit limited, but but yeah. Oh yeah, I've been playing that Fallout. I've been playing that Fallout. I've been doing some more of that 2D20 systems now.
2D20. Okay, interesting.
Kind of like it's a little bit backwards. It's kind of like a backwards system. But you got to get the low rolls rather than the high ones.
Oh, you roll under. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's I think it's called like Modifius. I think it's called. They have like 6 different books. I kind of like the fact that I could try different franchises, or maybe I can take some stuff from different books and kind of put them together.
Okay.
I think personally, I'm a pretty big fan of the D20 system, but I know it's hit or miss for a lot of people. Some people like it a lot, and some people hate it a lot. So
it's definitely missed for me. And I don't hate it. It's just it's not fiddly enough for me. Like that's why I like dice pools. They're fiddly.
It's fair.
What do you mean fiddly? Like tactile?
Like swingy. They're very swingy and everything.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes in combat it can be a game of rocket tag where you miss or whiff a lot, but then if you get a hit, then it's like really lethal. In some of the dice pool systems I've played. That's why I like it. With D20, I feel combat's a little like you're kind of hitting people with Nerf swords, if you know what I mean. It doesn't feel lethal enough for my taste.
It's interesting because like a D20 system is, because the probabilities in D20 is a straight line. You don't really have any of a curve with a D20, so it's a 5% chance of rolling any number at all. Well, like one between 1 and 20, it's a 5% chance of rolling anything. So to a certain extent, a D20 would be more swingy than anything else. But the issue, I think, with D&D especially, and I don't know about other D20 systems, maybe it's the same, but the issue with D&D is that the higher you go in levels, the more hit points everyone's got. And so it becomes this enormous slog of just attrition, trying to wear down the hit points of this monster that you're fighting, or these people you're fighting. And, I got 5 hit points in that round. Yay. And next round, I got 2, I destroyed 2 hit points. But only 227,000 hit points to go, and we defeat this dragon. Yay. And it just does become a bit of a slog just going through. And so the combat becomes very... I think it's a struggle to make it more interesting.
That's kind of where my so I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, exactly. That's what I was saying. And I think that's one of the things. Like I've been looking this up a lot on YouTube, sort of thing. How do you make combat more interesting? How do you do it? And most of the people who do that, who talk about that on YouTube, are addressing D&D issues. They're saying, well, you've got this slow, or the other thing is player turns. because player turns, you've got so many things you're doing on your turn. It takes people 10 minutes to try and work out what they're doing, and then rolling the dice, and then working out the options, and then counting it up and deciding the options and all that sort of stuff. There's so many options that the player turns take forever, and it takes twice as forever to get back to you on your turn. And so you might as well just look on your phone and do nothing while you're waiting for your turn. So it's interesting. It's an interesting dilemma, at least from my perspective, because I'm much more interested in design. But I've been trying to play a lot of different games. I've been trying to play a lot of games with different mechanics, just to see how they do a lot of this stuff. But yeah, it's
You're
interesting.
definitely right. You're definitely right. That's a problem that comes up.
Yeah.
Like even my game, like I had like at one point we had like multiple tanks, and I was like, it was becoming like it was becoming such a slog for fights. Now it's kind of sped up a little bit more, but yeah, it's. Because I mean, I know that because like in the game, the game is pretty. Like, I think a lot of people how they solved that is they like to keep like the level pretty low. Like originally they're like level 3 or something, or even like level 5, you kind of stay lower. But yeah, because like again, like you get these massive HP pools, right? And it's like, but then like it depends on unless you're increasing all the damage outputs. But
which seems a bit superfluous. Like I've got 1,000 HP, but that's okay. My sword now does 500 damage a hit. So it's like, well, why don't you just have 2 HP and the sword does 1 damage a hit? Because it's kind of everything gets. I don't know. It's this.
I think sometimes I think that guy Antonius, he's not here right now, but he's kind of almost referencing it like almost like superheroes almost at a certain point. Like D&D becomes like you're so powerful. It's like what's it like yeah, multiple super. You got like Superman versus and Wonder Woman like slamming at each other or something, right? It's like they're so powerful that it's like
I think it's true, and that's the thing. I mean, I think it's hard to if you're. Okay, so let me give you an example. So talk about superheroes. Say you've got a job. Your job is now to write for a comic book. You're now a comic book writer, and you've got a choice. You can choose to write for Superman, or you can choose to write for Batman. Which one do you choose?
Well, immediately I think Batman.
Okay.
Yeah, Batman.
Why do you choose Batman?
Because Batman's interesting. Superman.
Yeah. Whereas
Batman's also like
Superman's
moral in a way. Like he can get hurt and
well,
die.
Superman's moral.
Okay,
too.
I mean, okay.
But,
I mean, technically, Superman might die more technically, but I mean, it's like, but I mean, like,
yeah, I think Superman's died more than Batman has actually, canonically. But no, exactly. Superman's super. He can do everything. He's so powerful. It's amazing, but it makes him less interesting. Batman's got all these. He can be hurt. He can be shot. He could be. He gets tired. He can't fly. He's got to actually think his way around all these issues. So it becomes a lot more interesting character. And I think that's the issue with a lot of these sort of, well, in my opinion, mind you, but a lot of these like heroic fantasy sort of things is that there is a time when characters become less interesting just because they're more powerful. The idea of the only reason the character is interesting is because they're powerful. Then they cease to be a character. They just become kind of an archetype, and that's it. And that's all you can do with them. They kind of become a bit of a stereotype, rather about.
Well, like I think I've heard this word before. It was like Mary Sue, I think it's called.
Oh yes, yeah.
An extremely powerful person who has like no flaws and always succeeds at everything, no matter what.
Well, Mary Stu specifically refers to a woman protagonist that has no flaws.
Yeah.
Gary, and the gender flip term would be Gary Stu, a
That's
guy
right.
that has no flaws.
That's fair. I guess I didn't think about that. It's the same difference though. The point.
But yeah, I mean it's the same difference, but still, but yeah, they have no flaws. But see, I feel like that's the problem with writing is that you need to make an interesting character. You need to make characters with flaws. This is why This is why going back to urban horror settings. This is why I like urban horror, is because you typically make characters that have flaws. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and that's what you should have, and that's and the thing, I guess, is also in the system or the setting. It is important to incorporate those as well, and to do that sort of stuff. Otherwise, you've got to go out. You've got somebody who, the only thing this person's vulnerable to is kryptonite. And the only thing this person's vulnerable. As a result, kryptonite comes in everywhere. Everyone's got kryptonite because that's the only way you can get any stakes. The stakes have gone because he can just shrug off everything. So I don't know. But it's interesting. I mean, I'm not sure how to if you're in a story, unless the players, just like in a game, unless the players are really on board with that sort of stuff, and they're really on board in terms of, okay, I want to actually play out this character. I want to be involved in the story and the narrative and talk about character growth, not just leveling up growth, but actual character growth. Unless players are on board with that, then it's really hard to sort of incorporate that.
So one thing I started doing, and I know maybe because I'm is like the world builder or the game master. So one of them is that I don't know, different systems do different things. Like I was making basically its character start. You have to have a negative. You have to have at least one of your attributes a negative modifier. That way, it's like because you're kind of like, I don't know. It's like sometimes the words are hard to say. Like you forced, again. It's like forced to be bad at something, I guess.
Yeah.
That way, it's like you have to. That way, you have to like. And like maybe also just like add like a flaw or something they're just not good at. I don't know. That way, it's like I don't know.
That's the other thing, is it?
Yeah. Sorry, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, and this is one of the issues in terms of narrative versus, crunchy games or fluff versus crunch, is that a lot of people aren't going to really pay attention to their flaw unless it's got a mechanical issue. So unless it actually affects their roles. So if you just put in, this person's very greedy, but it doesn't really affect their decisions or their combat or anything like that, people aren't really going to worry about it. But if you say, you're really greedy, so you get a disadvantage to any what are they called, like wisdom saves, or a disadvantage to, if you're being tempted by money or something like that, you get a disadvantage to resist the temptation, or I don't know, something. Then obviously it's going to be a mechanical issue that they and that will be part of the game, and that's a good thing. And if they don't want to necessarily role play it, it's still an aspect of the game that they can incorporate into it. So yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's trying to work out that, I guess maybe it's the players that we're playing with, whether they want to play the game as a story or whether they want to play the game as a game. So yeah. That's all I was going to say. Thanks for talking.
Nice. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. So in my game, I've got, if you fail a roll, if you fail a task, you gain an experience point. So which you can then use in any subsequent rolls. When you can collect all your experience points and you can add them to your totals at any point. But when you spend them, they're spent. They're gone. So you or you can,
That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's just one of the what do they call it? One of the currencies. Is it currencies? Currency? I can't remember. Anyway, but so I've got everybody's also got a flaw. So when you are and the flaw is often the thing that the game master will keep in mind. But if you're using your flaw, if your flaw is engaged, then you get a -2 to your roll. So anytime you're trying to resist something or trying to achieve something and it's got your flaw is involved, it's -2 to your roll. But if you fail by using your flaw, you gain 2 experience points. So normally you'd only get 1 experience points if you fail the roll, but if you fail while engaging with your flaw, you get 2 experience points. So the idea is it's trying to encourage people to play their flaw or to play with their flaw because it will actually give them a better result in the end. So it'll actually reward a certain amount of role play or a certain amount of, sort of leaning into that. But I think the only reason I did that is because otherwise people ignore it. Because who wants to do -2 to their rolls? So it's kind of a yeah. But I mean, it depends, I guess, on your players if they're Sorry, go on.
Well, I guess another thing would be like, I guess the incentives, or because I feel like if you give someone an incentive to want to do something, then they're more inclined to do it. I guess. I suppose like a human nature. Like if you're gonna benefit, like of course you want to do that thing more.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's something I need to do more myself. It's like I need to it's like, when I'm running a game, I need to like come up with incentives for people to want to do something that I guess I want them to do something, so I should incentivize them with it. I don't know what that's called. It's almost like an evil rub, but it's like no, but it's you're like like a master puppet strings or something. I don't know. But
well, maybe it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be malicious, though. I mean, it's like saying you're incentivized to, level up. So you're incentivized to go and get treasure or whatever the leveling up is, go and kill monsters or go and achieve milestones because you incentivized to level up. And that's it's not malevolent. It's just like it's like a job. It's like I'm incentivized to work at my job because I want the money.
This
I want to keep living.
talking about this, it reminds me of an older mechanic from the it's now known as the Chronicles of Darkness, originally New World of Darkness, but it was virtue and vice, and these were based on the seven heavenly virtues and the 7 deadly vices, and they worked in the sense of if you fulfilled your virtue, you got all your willpower back. And if you fulfilled your vice, you only got a point of willpower back for the session. And willpower was a very fluctuating stat. But yeah, I get what you mean. And I was thinking, I typically like systems where you play as anti-heroes and not in the sense of like badasses and stuff, not those kinds of anti-heroes. I mean like classical anti-heroes where you're maybe cowardly or you're not an ideal hero. I typically don't like that word.
Yeah.
But I hate to do this, but I gotta go. There's something I gotta do.
Worries.
But it was nice.
Sure.
It was nice talking with you, Drake, and I'll talk to you later, Phil.
Yeah, you too, definitely.
All right, good talking.
Yeah. See you all later.
Yeah. Thanks, Liam.
Hey, it was good talking with you. Yeah, I guess. Oh yeah. I think I might plan for next week. I know it was a little bit of a trying to get this set up. I think Grace will be there. Maybe we can get some other people.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm trying. I think I want to do some kind of like a group chat, maybe more weekly or more regularly. But Friday seems like a good day.
Maybe think of some topics and post the topics up and say, we're going to talk about these things and see if anyone does it. Or maybe a few questions about, how do you resolve this issue or what do you think about, I don't know, X, Y, Z. Because it depends who you want in the chat, whether it's players talking about their experiences with games or people talking about issues. You can have Christian issues or, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Well,
it's a suggestion, but yeah. But
I
I think
guess
it's good.
here's a question. Do you I don't know. Do you want to be a moderator on this little Discord thing I made?
I don't think I've got time. I'm so sorry. I don't think I've got time.
Oh, I meant
Um,
I meant it doesn't. Yeah, it wouldn't be much. But yeah, I meant at least you could edit some of this stuff. It's fair.
I thank you, but I don't think I've got time to do it. I'm sorry. I've got I'm running a Bible study in my church. I've got work, and I've also still trying to do my channel, which I haven't gotten around to. But I'm also thinking about other things I'm trying to do as well. So,
It's fair.
but thank you for the
Fair.
offer. I do appreciate it. I think you're doing great.
All right.
I think you're doing fine in terms of this.
All right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Also, I guess feel free to post any topics you're interested in, or
Sure.
suggestions. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I'll think of someone.
Yeah, it's good talking to
All
you.
right, well, yeah, you too. Thanks for that. I
All right.
appreciate it, and I hope you have a great night.
Yeah, you as well.
All right, see ya.
Yep. Godspeed.